ladies and gentlemen, Rory Bremner.
Well, Paxman's one thing, but I don't. It's not a very good David Cameron. I think I still need to work.
You're not satisfied?
Yeah, I still have to work on that.
What's the problem?
Well, so do you. I mean, I've got to say, he does a much better Blair than I do, because I just did the voice, he's doing the whole career. So it's...
And what about, do you agree with me about Gordon Brown, about the mutual antipathy there is between...
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Prime Minister's question. I disagree. I mean, you think that's spicy. I mean, I think it's like... It's not politics, it's happy slapping, really, isn't it? I mean, it is. I felt sorry for Gordon Brown last week. I mean, poor guy. I mean, he's got one eye, he hasn't slept since 1997. English is his second language. Third, you know... I did enjoy the conference speech, though. He did.
That was a very good conference speech.
That was actually I haven't got a speech. I haven't got an auto cue. I've got a few notes. So it might be messy, but it will be me.
It's getting better. It's getting better. The trouble is, every time you talk to him, you feel he's doing research.
Have you given up cigarettes? Because there's that rough edge to your voice. I always sound... I veer into a little bit of Keith Floyd there. But we'll get there. I don't know what I'm going to do with Nick Clegg. I mean, we're just getting these bland politicians now.
Yeah, there are kind
so Brown is still doable. I mean, thank goodness.
He's still doable.
I like the tension in Gordon Brown between, between the Calvinist Scottish background on the one hand and the compromises he's got to make as Prime Minister. I live my life by Christian principles. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's wife, although, to be honest, that was never going to be a problem. But we'll see. But the rest of them, I really don't know. I was saying to David in the green room before that, I mean, you look around there, John Denham, John Hutton, Andy Burnham... I mean, I follow politics. I don't know who these people are. Andrew Lansley, they're very bland, but at least, thank goodness, there are a couple of Tories who are still quite barking mad.
Boris.
Well, Oliver Letwin and Boris Johnson. You're Boris is barking, you know. I mean, what I'm going to say to the people of London, you like a joke? You like a joke? You like a joke? You like a joke? Well, why not vote for one?
Well, I mean, Boris, he was at university with you, wasn't he?
You were my fag, weren't you?
What's yours, man?
Inside that jokey exterior, there's a very intelligent and very ambitious person, and I think he'll do a good job as London Mayor.
Very, very deep inside.
This will bring it out.
That's what he talks about. Anyway.
You used to be once in your career, you wrote gags for, or were asked to write gags for Gordon Brown, weren't you?
Yeah, Gordon Brown, no, he asked me to write jokes for him, but I couldn't, because, you know, it wouldn't be right. But the great thing is he now writes jokes for me, so it's kind of worked itself out.
You must have actually a little long for the time, occasionally, to bring back Tony Blair, you know?
I don't think I'm meant to do Tony Blair anymore, because the last time we did him in Edgware Road, because he's now Middle East peace envoy, which is, you know, it's like asking a mosquito to cure malaria. But he's living... Well, I'm sorry. But, Tom Lehrer said, you know, how can you do satire when Henry Kissinger won the Nobel Peace Prize? I mean, how can you do satire when Blair is Middle East peace envoy, when Boris Johnson's running for London mayor, and, I know, John Prescott's world ambassador for Weight Watchers or something? And I only made one of those up. But I'm not meant to do Blair, because the last time... We did him once in the last series that we just done on Channel 4, and I was in a restaurant in Edgware Road, because he lives just off Edgware Road, which is, you know, is the most Arab area of London. So he's got to solve Palestine in the next 6 months, or, you know, Cherie will send him out for a lottery ticket and he won't make it to the news agency. You know, I mean, God, you know, they'll crucify me, you know. And hang on, that's the other lot, isn't it? So there I was in Edgware Road, and we were filming and in a restaurant, and a rat ran out of the kitchen and out into the road, followed by a waiter. So a waiter is now chasing a rat up Edgware Road, trying to get a kick at it. He managed to get a kick and kick it into the street. And I go back onto the bus to go back to the unit, and I've got Tony Blair, the teeth that I used to wear, and I put them in my pocket. I got onto the bus, sat down, and broke the teeth in half. So they now no longer... So he's still a pain in the arse, but...
So it's a sign.
So it's a sign that I'm no longer meant to do Blair.
You're a great fan of Formula 1, of course, aren't you?
Absolutely. Well, I've been a bit of a Lewis groupie this season. We've
Have
been
you?
very... Well, you mentioned Jackie Stewart. And, my wife's a sculptor. Not Jackie's wife, my wife's a sculptor. And Jackie's got some of her sculpture. So he said, well, would you like to come out to Monaco? And 3 days in Monaco with Jackie Stewart, it's like being in Tibet with the Dalai Lama. He is loved there. And he won that 4 times, Michael. And he's great, because he told us about the course. He said, Monaco, you know, let me tell you, Lewis, you'll know this, but the barriers at Monaco, they're 3 feet high. But in the car, you're 2 feet off the ground, so you're in a tunnel. And, you know, some of the drivers, Jock and Rindt, he used to get car sick. Formula 1 driver getting car sick. And he used to vomit. Vomit in his helmet. And, you know, no wonder he drove so fast. But Jackie did so much. He did so much for safety. He didn't actually introduce service areas for Formula 1. So you could, you know, you could just go there, have a cup of coffee, clean out the helmet and move on. But actually, Monaco, funnily enough, I think that's where the Fernando stuff started out, because I think you reckon you could have won that race, didn't you? Monaco.
Yes. But didn't you meet in Bahrain as well?
We did, yes. Well, Bahrain was the first one for the race. I think it's the 3rd race in the season.
It was. Yeah.
That's right. And they got a whole lot of people out there, and Jamie Cullum was one of the guests. He was a surprise guest, and he was playing his... And he asked me to sing a song with him, so we just did a version of I've Got You Under My Skin with Clinton. It was like Clinton and Mandela. I've got you under my skin. I've got you. And it just went on for that, and Prince Charles, this affair will never go so well. And George Bush, don't you know, little fool, you never can win. Here's your mentality. Wake up to the military. And finish it with Jackie Stewart saying, I've got you under my... What's that bit at the front of the car? I've got you under my wing. It was great fun, a great evening.
What about... So there's this dearth of people to do in politics. So you turn, logically, to... Well, there's always grotesques, showbiz.
Yeah, well, I used to do those in the past,
You did, right.
in the older shows. And, yeah, there are characters in... I mean, the chefs are the big ones now, aren't they?
Yes.
And I've known Anthony Roll Thompson for a while, but I've never actually done him in the show, so this time, actually... You know, it sounds a bit like a wasp trapped in a jam jar, but it was... The other day we did Jonathan Moss the first time I did makeup. The whole thing of Jonathan Moss is a licence to be outrageous. It's a licence to be totally outrageous. So we had a sort of thing with Bill Clinton and showing him. So have a look at some world leaders, Bill. Here's a world leader. Would you kick her out of bed? Would you kick her out of bed? There she is. Look at that. Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. She's president of the Philippines. Filipino, do the business, clean your house afterwards.
What's the politician's view of somebody like Rory? I mean...
Dread. I think spitting image, I mean, everyone in politics was, on the one hand, I mean, it was before my time, but I remember talking to people, on the one hand, they couldn't bear their spitting image puppet.
Yes.
But on the other hand, they were desperate if they didn't have one. So,
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's only one thing worse than being imitated by Rory, and that's probably not being imitated by Rory.
The accolade is being done by him, yes, in that sense. You know, he couldn't get me right either, you know.
He said...
You made me sound like Jeffrey Boycott.
Michael's
No,
all
Jeffrey
your
Boycott.
Yorkshiremen are the same.
Well, they're not all the same. Actually, I was thinking about Gordon Brown earlier. You know, Gordon Brown's the Jeffrey Boycott of politics, you know, because, you know, he's not necessarily a team player. It's a long-term game. Take a while to get your 100. You know, like Boycott, you know, I'd go to sleep with my pads on in case I had a dream about batting. And you get the feeling that Gordon Brown goes to bed with a calculator in case he has a dream about the economy.
Do you dream about racing?
No.
Do you not?
No.
You sleep very snug, because I've often said, because your dad always says, you know, well, the thing that Lewis needs, you know, he'll go to bed, he'll put everything out of his mind, have a good night's sleep and be back on the grid tomorrow. Because
Occasionally you do. When you're preparing for the weekend, you do dream about what's going to happen during a race. You know, you go into the first corner, you crash, or...
But do you
know,
sleep
win the race.
soundly? Or...
I talk a lot in my sleep.
Really?
And I actually wake up in the morning. I wake up during the conversation I might be having with someone. I realise I'm talking to thin air. And go back to sleep.
Fernando.
OK. Well... Rory Bremner, thank you very much indeed. Rory Bremner.